Oklahoma State has a long lineage of sending wide receivers to the NFL. This season, everybody's anticipatory of 2024, but when you look back at 2023, Oklahoma State would have never made it to the Big 12 title game without a wide receiver that might be getting a little bit overlooked.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visually as well on YouTube. Find me personally on X at AllDayOState. Today, we get to dive into a little bit of football. We've had the opportunity to talk to several players that are currently going through the spring camp. So now, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a potential NFL Cowboy coming around the corner. Brother man, Leon Johnson III. How are we feeling today, my guy?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great.
So you're fresh off of this NFL Big 12 exclusive Pro Day. We'll talk a little bit about that. But naturally, I just wanted to start with a little bit of your journey from high school to George Fox, because I do know, your journey from high school to George Fox in and of itself was a little difficult, right? You had to outwork people and do a little bit more. You had to be the guy that was willing to go catch routes in the middle of the night using headlights as lights to get it done. You had to be that guy to get to college, right? And then you get to college, and your idea in college is to just have some fun, play a little bit baseball, play a little bit of football, get a degree, go be a teacher. But now you're seeing, right? Okay, you're seeing the taste of the rainbow that says Leon Johnson III is a mother trucking NFL wide receiver. Yeah, you're seeing that rainbow now.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about that journey from high school to George Fox, and then naturally how you ended up in Stillwater.
So out of high school, I didn't really market myself like most guys do in high school. They go to those 7-on-7 camps, they go get rated, and they're rated like the 3 to 5 stars or whatever it is. And I was always a two-sport guy. Like I played football, or I played 3 up until high school, but freshman year I quit basketball. But when it was football season, it was football season. All my attention was on football, and when it was baseball season, it was baseball season, and so all my attention was on baseball. And so those 7-on-7 camps were usually happening during football season. So I never really got the chance to get that attention that a lot of guys were other guys were getting, because I just was focused on my other love, my other passion at the time. And so I was just kind of letting opportunities come to me. I wasn't really throwing my name out in the hat. I wasn't on Twitter. I just recently started using Twitter once I got to OSU. So that wasn't really a presence.
And for the people out there, you say you use Twitter, but you say that very loosely, because you're not on it much.
No, yeah, I have a Twitter now. I just kind of every once in a while, maybe once every other week, I'll get on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I have the notifications for it off, so I'm not really on it very much. But and so I just kind of was letting opportunities come to me, and honestly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to even be a student athlete anymore. I kind of almost took that just a normal student path, because I wasn't sure. I was like, I kind of want to feel what just being a normal person feels like for once. And my dad told me if I had done that, I almost went to Washington State just to be a student. My dad told me he would have forced me to walk on the football team. So I guess I never really had that option that I thought I did. But and so George Fox, a couple schools, the only one I really remember, George Fox was the one that came and talked to us at our school. John Bates, the defensive coordinator, what he was at the time, now he's assistant head coach over there. He came and visited our school, and I went out there for a visit, and a lot of the other Northwest Conference teams gave me a lot of offers and stuff to play both football and baseball, of course. And out of those schools, I just liked George Fox the most, liked the coaches, liked the area, and liked the people that I had met. And so that was the school I chose out of the it was really between them and Pacific at that time, Pacific University, and I just chose George Fox in that moment. And then
it worked out for you, Bubba.
No, yeah.
Clearly, George
It
Fox
was
was
a
a good fit.
the right
Hey,
choice, I guess.
shout out to Coach Shad
Yes, sir.
putting in that work and getting Lee on campus. Man,
Well, actually,
I did.
he was a player when I first got there. He was a senior when I got there, and so I played with him.
That's fun, dude.
Oh yeah.
That is fun. That's fun. And you know what? I love the two-sport thing, and that is something that Mike Gundy traditionally does look for is the two-sport athlete. I think that's something that Oklahoma State has been at the forefront of when it comes down to evaluation of talent and who we want to get on campus, which is ironic because sometimes it's viewed as a negativity.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I think college coaches do look for that multi-sport athlete role because it works different muscles. It keeps you in shape year-round,
Yes,
and
sir.
it does different things for you physiologically as opposed to focusing on just one sport. So talk about a little bit of your transition from George Fox to Oklahoma State, because like you said, you were content. I think content's the right word. You were okay with going down the regular school route, right? You maybe even going to Wazoo, which at the end of the episode, we'll check in on Gabe, all right? Ain't going to let him off the hook either. But you ended up at Oklahoma State University. And then in the beginning, tell me a little bit about that, right? Because there was a little bit of in between. Are we going to redshirt? Are we going to be rocking and rolling? So talk a little bit about that experience.
So when I first got here, my plan was to only be here until December. I planned to not like redshirting wasn't really even in my head at all until really the fall. And so throughout spring ball and most of summer workouts and stuff, it was in my head, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna develop the most I can so I can earn not even just like, of course I want the starting spot, but if not the starting spot, then right behind him and we're in a good rotation and I'm getting the playing time that I felt like I deserved.
Yes, sir.
And then the first two games came around. I played about 10 snaps in the first game and then played even fewer snaps in the next. And so me and Kasey Dunn sat down and he was like, how are you feeling about the red shirting? Like, I'm sorry I'm not getting you in as much, but it's just the way that things are. And I'm doing what I need to do to win. And so I felt red shirting. If that was how he felt, of course, he's my coach. I'm not going to argue with that. And so I thought if I have a better chance of playing next year, then let's do that red shirt and develop my skills for another year with Kasey Dunn being the amazing coach that he is and in the amazing program that I'm in, and decided to redshirt then. And then the thing was I hadn't gotten considered this my home because I was only planning to be here for a couple more months at that point.
Right.
And I didn't want to be too upset with leaving like I was when I left George Fox. It kind of hit me a little hard because I was leaving earlier than I expected. And so I didn't get to spend that last semester with my friends over there or have that really spend that last senior semester just with the people I did those last 3.5 years with.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to feel that again when I left. And so I hadn't really considered this place my home. And while I was comfortable, I wasn't like, this is my home. Like I'm the most comfortable I've been here. But then once we decided that the redshirt was the option, I kind of broke down that barrier and was like, okay, I'm here for another year. Let's kind of settle in a little bit more, relax a little bit more, and let this place feel like another home away from home, like I have at George Fox and like I have in at home. And so then West Virginia came around. I'd already played 2 games and you're allowed 4, and then the 5th is when you burn it. And then West Virginia came. We had a flood of injuries come in with Jay Bray, Blaine Green, and Talon all in a quarter, within a quarter length. And so it was kind of like, wow, it was honestly right before a drive, offense was going out, and Jay Bray hopped up off the bench, and he wasn't walking over. I was like, you good? He's like, you're gonna have to go in. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're gonna have to go in, bro. I'm not even joking. You're in right now. I was like, did Dunn say that? Dunn's the one. Dunn always said, do not go in the game unless I tell you. He said, if Gundy tells you to go in, do not go in the game. I have to tell you to go in. And so I was like,
right.
Did Dunn say that? Is he the one telling me to go in? I was standing on the sideline, and Trayson was like, yeah, you're in now. And so then that was when I realized that the red shirt was gone, and the rest of the story kind of unfolded itself and told itself.
Well, yeah, talk about capitalization when you did get that moment, right? I tell my son all the time, whenever you're fighting for opportunities, when you get that opportunity, if you go over, right? If you give up 10 hits, 2 home runs, you're probably not going to get a lot of opportunities. But if you capitalize and you do enough, eventually they got to say, well, you know what? We got to keep them in the game. And that's precisely what you did. I'll tell you one thing, Leon. One of the biggest things I've heard throughout the course of you getting prepared for the pro day and going through the pro day, which we'll shift to here in a minute. I can't tell you how many messages or how many times I've heard, I really wish he was coming back this season, right? So you left a phenomenal imprint on Oklahoma State Cowboy country. Hopefully you've left that same imprint on some of the scouts and the agents as you do get ready for this draft process. So we're going to shift gears, talk a little bit about pro day, your experience, how that went, right? But real quick, I do have to let the fine people out here know that today, not today only, of course, but today for sure, you have to have Amazon Fire TV because it's fire, ladies and gentlemen. That's just what it is. And with the college basketball madness starting to die down a little bit, you have to stay engaged. You have to stay in gear, regardless of what sport you love right now. It's MLB season, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking a little bit of baseball right now. We're talking about a little bit of football. Don't miss any of the action. Fire TV is the destination for all of your sports, live games, highlights, and in-depth analysis. They provide you access to millions of movies and TV episodes, all for free. Whether it's the opening weekend for baseball, the college basketball March Madness, or you just want to have access to all of your favorite brands, including all of us here at the Locked On Network, you got to get Fire TV channels that let you dive in to all of the highlights, in-game analysis, and more. Plus, if you're looking for news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking, they have you covered there as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you have not checked out Fire TV channels yet, you absolutely should. Go to Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Again, that is Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Go there today to find your next destination for all sports and information. All right, Bob. So when you got prepared for the pro day, right, little kept secret is you were nursing a little bit of an injury after the bowl game, or an injury that you sustained in the bowl game.
Yeah.
So you were powering through the rehab process to get to where you could compete for the pro day. And you know what, buddy? Hats off to you. I know the ankle injury, it wasn't fun, right? And there was a little bit of a time there where it looked like the timeline to even getting prepared for the pro day was going to be slightly difficult. So hats off for you for that, right? Because you finally get enough film, you get enough stats, you get enough realistic on-field play to get an opportunity, and then your body's like, hold on, buddy, right? We might not be ready. So for you to power through that, dude, to me, it just adds to your journey, right? Your journey from high school, not getting a lot of looks, going to a D3, doing your daggone thing there, coming to Oklahoma State, not playing half the season. Dude, I'm telling you, your story writes itself. And
Yes,
the culmination of this story would be getting in the NFL. Statistically, your measurables put you anywhere from the 5th to the 7th round, all day, every day, which we're about to cover. But even if you end up as a UFA, Bubba, I feel very confident, right, that you are going to get opportunities. You're going to get a chance. So explain kind of, what it was like going through that rehab process while simultaneously trying to reach out to teams and have an agent kind of, produce some results as far as, teams looking into you while you're going through rehab, while you're preparing for the pro day. That's a lot to take on, man. How'd that feel and how'd you power through it?
Well, I don't really think about, I don't really stress out about stuff like that very much. I knew that I always kind of let life work itself out for me, I guess. I knew that I was going to be dealing with the ankle injury, and I dealt with one when I was first coming into OSU because I pretty much got one at the exact same time last year coming out of George Fox, but on my left ankle instead of my right. And so I knew that the process would be about 3 to 4 weeks after, and it was really about 5 that before I was able to start really running. Like my trainer out there wouldn't let me run because he said that if your ankle's hurting, then your other muscles will start compensating for that, and you have a higher risk of pulling or tearing something. And so it was kind of rough when, at George Fox, I had a concussion, and when you're sitting there and the only reason I'm there is to play football, and I'm not able to play football because of some injury, it kind of upsets me. That gets in my head a little bit more when I'm able to see other people do what I want to be doing. And so I'm watching I made some great friends out there, the boys I was working out with, and seeing them all working out and doing all that stuff for the first about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks I was out there was a little rough, but I was still able to lift and do all that. I just wasn't able to get the running part in and the jumping part, just trying to get healthy and stuff. And so that was probably the hardest part about it. But I don't really worry about like the scouts and stuff getting attention, because I hope that my story, or not really my story, but what I did out on the field and what I've done out on the field, and the great people I have on my side with my agents of Kenny Chapman and Frank Bauer working their magic, and knowing that they're out there doing their stuff for me is really what kept my mind off of that and stressing off of that, and me just doing the best I can and hoping that my best is enough.
Yeah, shout out to Sun West, man. They seem to have gotten you very, very prepared. And, they have no shortages of connections and abilities to get somebody like yourself in front of the right people, which is, again, why I'm not super concerned, about where you end up. But let's talk about some of the statistics, some of the measurables, right? So whenever we've had conversations throughout the course of the season, my comp for you has always been Marcell Ateman. Marcell Ateman was one of the Cowboy greats that was drafted in the late rounds, went to the Raiders. Not only was he able to create a role for himself with the Raiders, made the 53-man roster, made the starting rotation, played in several NFL games. He won some NFL games with some big catches from Derek Carr. He just had another big touchdown here recently, so he's still continuing to do the daggone thing. But he measured out between the pro day and the combine at 6'4.5". You are 6'5" and some change, correct?
Actually, I just got measured out at 6'4", 6'4" and 6/10, unfortunately. But
all right, so right around the same. He
yeah.
was 216 pounds. You come in 217 pounds. His arm reach is where I think that you definitely start to separate yourself. What was your arm length?
I believe it was 7 feet.
Yes, sir. So you win there. His hands were 9 inches. Yours was a little over 10, correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
See, his official 40 between the combine and the pro day was a 4.62. You ran a 4.5 flat, correct?
Yes, sir.
See, here we go. His 10 split. You beat him in the 10 split, but that's kind of cheating, right? Because your baseball background gives you that ability. A good baseball player will always have a solid 10 split. Your 10 split is significantly above his, so that's not even fair. Your vertical is the exact same. He went 10-1 on the broad jump. You went 10-10 on the broad, my guy.
Yes, sir.
What was your 3-cone drill?
I believe it was 7-2, 7-1-8, 7-1-6.
Okay, so he beats you there. There. But what I'm getting at is every metric that you look at when it comes to what the scouts are looking for. And dude, you have something that I experienced, like going through college and everything, that not everybody has. And that is height, right? You can't magically make somebody 6'4", 6'5".
Yes,
that
sir.
was always something I knew to use to my advantage. And then I worked on high jump, right? I got some calf muscles. So it made life a lot more enjoyable. So I know that doors open athletically if you do have the height and the size and the skill. You have all of that. You measure out better than a Cowboy that played several years in the NFL, that is still playing professional football, that got drafted.
Yes, sir.
That's where Leon, man, I was excited about you in the get-go, because naturally, when everybody hears of a D3 transfer, instantaneously 99% of the fan base goes, oh, great, we got to go fishing for D3 guys now.
Yeah.
That's the state of the pro. Am I wrong?
You're not at all.
Okay. So, but then I did some digging, did some research into George Fox, found out you played baseball, found out that you took a year of your own eligibility away from you just to help George Fox to play baseball. You were very productive when you did do that. That story to me was like, all right, I got to do more digging. I got to find, and then I found some film. There's not a lot out there, all right? You don't have a bunch.
Yes,
But
sir.
the film I did see, it's like, well, he separates on routes good. He gets off of press good. He knows how to settle down in zones good. He knows how to manipulate corners and linebackers to give himself more space. What am I missing? Like, what does he not have? And then it was like, okay, he doesn't have any weight. Not a problem. Body by glass will fix him up real right in a hurry, which he did. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So it didn't make sense to me why you were getting undervalued, underlooked. And I do think that that's a testament to our recruiting department. That's a testament to Kasey Dunn and Mike Gundy in understanding what we're looking for in evaluation, in the evaluation of talent. All right. So before we shift gears here again, is there something in the pro day other than the 40? I do know that you were looking for a 4.47, 4.48 range because that's what you'd been doing in training, right? But, lights came on and you still performed. 4.5 flat is good, my dude, especially when you're almost 6 foot flipping 5 and you got on a 35-inch vertical. That kind of stuff sells itself, right? I think your story, how you got here, what you've done to get here, sells itself. The fact that you came to Oklahoma State with zero inclinations on messing with the NFL, right? That wasn't even a microcosm of anything that you were looking to accomplish. So the fact that you've gotten here, I'm so glad that you do belong at the next level. Leon.
Yes, sir.
100%, my dude. Is there anything in the pro day that was a better experience than you thought? And also, was there something in the pro day that you thought didn't quite go as well as you wanted to, other than the 40? What was the biggest surprise first?
I was pretty happy with everything I did. I think that had I done a couple broad jump warm-ups, I probably would have jumped maybe a little bit further, but that's just how I felt about it. But other than that, I don't know if there's anything that I was upset about with my results afterwards. I was happy with every single number besides and I wasn't unhappy with the 40. I was just unhappy I didn't reach the goal I set for myself.
Right.
But everything other than that, I was really happy with every other one of the metrics I had. So nothing there surprised me and nothing there upset me too much.
Well, being the first ever NFL exclusive pro day, shout out to Brett Yormark and the Big 12 for getting that one done. Could you feel the energy and excitement? And yes, I was supposed to be there, had some stuff come up. I failed you on that one, bud. I failed you.
You're all good.
But was it the hoopla, the excitement, all of that? Was it everything that you anticipated? Because I noticed we had some of the WWE guys there again, some of the same guys that were at the Big 12 title game, and there was a lot of marketability and promotion put into this. Did it live up to everything excitement-wise that you thought it would?
I think so. Honestly, I didn't really know what to expect out of a pro day at all because at George Fox, pro days aren't a thing. Like when I was talking to the guy Chris Hobbs, the West Coast scout for the Chargers out of George Fox, he was going to send me to the Portland State pro day, and so I honestly really had no clue what really a pro day entailed until OSU had theirs last year when I was here, and I kind of heard more about it and got to watch a little bit of that before I had to go to class, unfortunately. But I thought for the experience of not really knowing what I was coming into, it was a really awesome experience and something that I really will never forget for the rest of my life, especially being the first one and being able to be a part of that and adding that to my little portfolio of things that I've gotten to do in my life. It was really incredible, honestly.
So I have to tell you, okay. So I did have a conversation with some of your family months back, right? It was before you were really getting going, and I don't know. Your dad may have told you the story, and I told him, I said, listen, if your son goes out here and throws up $150 and a couple touchdowns, he'll probably never see the bench again, and that is precisely what happened. Like, dude, it makes, I think, all Oklahoma State fans happy to see somebody's rise, especially when it's a rise that's somewhat unexpected.
Yes, sir.
And the same can be said for Brian Nardo. right? Coming from Gannon, D3. There was a lot of people that are like, oh, great, we're going to nosedive defensively. Brian Nardo's fourth quarters won us several games,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And I think the differentiation nowadays between the lower levels and D1, it's starting to become less and less significant, primarily because the high school recruiting game has shifted so severely towards transfer market that going to JUCO used to be, the only way to get another shot at D1. If you went D2, D3, and AIA, that was your career. You pretty much, you kissed away your shots at going to D1 again. It's not like that anymore, right? D1, D3, NAIA, it doesn't matter anymore. It's about production. It's about film analysis and relationships. All right, so speaking of relationships, I know you have several. You have a lot of buddies on the current team. I know that you are extremely geared up and excited to redshirt just because you knew the 2024 season was going to be different, right? Getting to Arlington in 2023 was going to be a tough task, a task that you guys were up for. But you knew, the locker room knew, 2024 was going to be something special. And that was before we had, 13 six-year seniors come back? So let's talk a little Stillwater. Let's talk a little ball right around the turn here. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, you got to capitalize on your money-making capabilities. And as Leon and I are about to discuss the 2024 season, do not miss this opportunity to hammer the over. There may not be another time ever where we have 20 returning starters, 90% of the roster, and they're giving us 7.5 over and under. Hammer the over, make the money, honey, because Oklahoma State's going to provide that for you this season with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook betting partner for a reason, so don't miss out on your opportunity. Right now, new customers get $200 back in bonus bets with any $5 winning bet. That's 200 bones back in your wallet, your pocket, your purse, whatever you got carrying around. You can use it to go to the tourney. You can watch Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL. Doesn't matter. Get your wallet fat today with FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make your next bet your best bet and your biggest win with FanDuel at FanDuel.com/lockedon. America's #1 sportsbook needs to be your #1 money-making venture. All right, Leon. Now that you're moving on to the pro game, if I were to make one recommendation for you, okay, when you get your inevitable NFL money, hammer the over on the Cowboys, make some dollar bills for yourself, my guy, this coming season. All right, so I know you were able to get really, really close with Elijah and Zane and Hudson and multiple other people on this incoming roster. So you've been able to stay engaged with how the camps are going, what spring's looking like. I'm sure you've been seeing Hudson do his crazy stuff. Zane's about to get involved with all of the trick shot stuff. So I'm excited to see what Zane can throw in there.
Yes,
but
sir.
Whenever you look at 2024, what do you think is different from last season to this season for the guys, the locker room, all of that?
I think with last year, with all the transfers that were coming in, it was just the beginning of the season was a little like, okay, we need to build that trust and stuff with each other, just because it was almost a brand new team, new quarterback, a lot of new receivers. Like, we just brought in so many guys last year because so many guys unfortunately left the season before. And so I think that with all the trust and stuff that we built in that last season and how much we all love each other, they all love each other now. There's not as much of that rebuild process as there was last year with all those new guys. They didn't bring in as many new guys. There's a lot more freshmen. There's not as many transfer dudes that are having to like learn the new system and stuff that we're hoping on this year to have to play. Yeah. And so I think that one of the biggest differences is that we're coming into the season week 1 with kind of an established amount of trust that just carries over from last season, because when you look at the depth chart, it's pretty much the exact same as it was last year. There were only 10 of us at the pro day, like, and 2 of them were specialists. And so it's like, it's pretty much the same team last year, and they're not having to worry about that we need to figure out how to work together. It's okay. Let's build off what we did last year and let's be great.
Well, we're going to have Xavier coming up next to talk about the pro day, and we should be followed by that with some Josiah Johnson. Was it nice having a group of dudes that you kind of had to go through the battles with last season at the pro day, and did it help you?
Well, yeah. So I didn't get to see the Xavier and Latu because they went on. They came in on Friday, the day I left, and then did their stuff on Saturday. But being able to see Josiah and Braden Cassidy was really awesome. And then Arlen Bruce was there, and Elijah, of course. And so I really hung out with Arlen and Elijah there, and it kind of definitely took some of the stress away because it's kind of like, okay, like I need to figure this out. Like this is such a lot of us think that it kind of makes or breaks your career there, but it's really not that much pressure, but it's the pressure that you're feeling on yourself. And so being able to just like relax with them and hang out, and we can talk about what we've been up to and how life's been, and getting to catch up with those guys I haven't seen in a couple months was really awesome, and definitely took a lot of the edge off of the stress that we were feeling.
And speaking of them, dude, I know Elijah did a couple things that turned some heads. Josiah had a couple catches that ended up being kind of viral clip worthy. So
yes, sir.
Oklahoma State was represented well by the Cowboys that were participating in the event. All right, so if the NFL, whatever, if it does 100% work out, doesn't work out, can you at least let Cowboy Country know that if you have the availability, we'll see you on the sidelines in Arlington and beyond, buddy. Leon, dude, this 12-team playoff, it has our name on it, man.
Oh, yeah.
There's out of the 12 best teams in the United States of America, Oklahoma State is on that list. And you, again, I don't think, well, I know a lot of people realize, right, because I've heard, but I think there's a decent amount of fans that get kind of complacent, and they do forget that without your performances against Cincinnati, BYU, you came up massive in Bedlam, without your performance in those games, we don't make it to Arlington. We don't play in a Big 12 title game. We don't get the opportunity to take on Texas. And, by the time we got to Texas, right, Ollie was banged up, wearing 73 pounds of tape. Nick was banged up a little bit. We had some corners it is what it is. It's a war of attrition. But that's another thing I wanted to lead into. Last year, with all of the new transfers and having a new DC and having, some different faces, different names, what do you think was the biggest difference that you can see in regards to, I don't know, just the depth, right? Because last year, depth was a little bit of a concern. But like you just mentioned, this season's a little bit different. We have a lot of returning guys. We only got 7, 8 guys in the portal. We only lost 5, 6 real guys in the portal. So there's not a lot of moving and shaking parts this year. Mm-hmm. With this amount of depth that we have, where does that really shine bright the most? Is it on the starters, or is this the time where the second teamers really get a lot of the bulk of the work that should show more depth, which should show its beautiful head the latter half of the season?
Oh, yeah, I definitely am excited to see what the starters do this season, because for a lot of them, it is their last season. Like, the whole O-line will pretty much be gone next year. They're all sixth-year guys, and so while I'm excited, while I want those guys that are in the back to get their opportunity and stuff, I really hope that those sixth-year, last-year guys definitely get, especially in those positions like O-line, the Bowman, of course. Like, I'm excited to see what those guys do. But then, like, in terms of like the receiver room, I'm excited to see what Dejon Stribling does, because he got taken out last year pretty early, week 4. So he did get another year because that counted as a red shirt. And so I'm excited to see what he does in there, and then even the younger guys in there, because you can't only have BP, Rashad, and Strib play. And so I'm excited to see what Cam Hurd comes out and does, what Jalen Pope and Tyke Andrews can do out there. And then with the running back position, we have Ollie, of course, but he's not able to play every single snap. So to see what Sesi Valhalla, however you pronounce that, sorry, Sesi, if you watch this, but excited to see what he can do out there as the redshirt freshman that he is now, because in those positions you definitely need the second string guys to show up sometimes. And so I'm excited to see what happens in those specific rooms.
Before I let you skedaddle on off of here, brother man, was there a specific is there a specific team in the NFL that you've always kind of been a fan of?
I always say the Seahawks just because I'm from Seattle.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest sports watcher. Like I would sit down and watch it occasionally with my dad, but I try and keep my my football with football and my personal life with personal because I don't like having my whole life revolve around one thing. But I would say the Seahawks, of course.
Well, that's something I never learned, buddy. I'm 37 and my life still revolves around primarily the same things. All right. So Gabe, right? I was trying, and there's a lot of people trying to get Gabe to Stillwater. Hey, shout out to Washington State, right? They did a good job hanging on to a very good defensive end that should be able to continue to progress, much like you did at Oklahoma State. So although I am sad, right? You can say butthurt. That's fair. That Gabe didn't end up in Stillwater. What is something other than the resilience? Because Gabe's gone through a decent amount of stuff that had to present obstacles before he got where he's at now.
Yes, sir.
What's the biggest thing you think Gabe can knock out this season? I know he's going to surprise some people. I'm very excited for how he's going to do. And another question I got for you. This might be the most important question. And if this is your dad, okay? But rumor has it, Gabe can beat you in a 100-yard dash.
Whoa. My dad said that?
Yes. Hey, you will know. Sarah said, no way. No way.
That's actually crazy. That is actually crazy to hear. Yeah, that's a conversation I'll just have him prove it at some point. So that's something we can figure out. But
hey,
in
Gabe's
terms
got
of
them secret wheels. Don't lie. Gabe's got them secret wheels.
no, he's pretty fast. He's just not faster than me. I'm not giving that to him.
Good.
No, yeah.
Good.
I'll give him. He's stronger than me. He can lift more or whatever. But in terms of speed, I have that on locks.
Well, you know what? I apologize to Junior if I just got him choked out. Okay, but he'll survive. If you do accidentally have to choke him out, just let him know. I said it builds character. Okay, so it's good. All right, Bubba. Hey, man, greatly appreciate your time. You know
Thank you for having me.
The amount of respect that Oklahoma State country just has for you, what you provided for Cowboy Nation, and your journey to getting here. So
Yes,
before I let you skedaddle on off here, I know you're not big into social media, but how can Cowboy country continue to kind of follow your journey as you tiptoe into the NFL draft?
I will be starting to post a little bit more on Instagram. I've been told that I need to build my brand a little bit, and so I'm gonna start posting more about my life and stuff on Instagram instead of just like reposting what my friends and stuff are doing, because I have a lot of people in my life doing some great things that I just post a lot. So definitely my Instagram, and I promise I'll try and figure out Twitter and X more. I don't know. I get a little uncomfortable tweeting out on there, but the one time I did it was really, like, it made me feel really good, and so I'll figure out how to start doing that a little bit more and get a little bit more comfortable with that.
Fair play. I am the most untechnologically advanced individual possibly in the world. So I too don't love social media, but it's a necessary evil, right? That's what you can call it. There's good, there's bad. It's a good way to kind of, build your brand and get yourself out there, which of course you definitely need to do. I can't wait to see what you do moving forward. But Leon, thank you very, very much for your time. Thank you for being a Cowboy. Thank you for providing the necessary spark that we needed to get to the Big 12 title game. Can't wait to link in with you this season. Hopefully it's in Arlington once again.
Yes,
Brother,
sir.
man, thank you much. I greatly appreciate your time. It's been an honor to watch you. It's been an honor to cover you. Your family's absolutely phenomenal. So I know that the future for you is bright, regardless of where it goes. But I don't think your football journey's done anywhere near close, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for having
brother,
me.
Man. Thank you, Cowboy country. Say hello to the man that did, in fact, step up to help us get to Arlington, and say goodbye to the Cowboy that now takes his talents on to the pro leagues. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we're going to have for this one right here. Hey, you heard it. We're going to talk to Xavier. I'm pretty sure we can get a pretty good line in on Josiah. We'll holler at some more guys. We've got a lot coming up. This is a wonderful time to get involved with Cowboy football. It's a wonderful time to get involved with Cowboy basketball as well. But as we turn a page on Leon, this next season, you heard it, Dejon Stribling could join the next long line of Cowboys in the NFL. I think Leon Johnson is destined to end up there as well. Guys, he's just like Marcell Ateman, right? And Marcell's still doing the thing, except for he's a little bit faster. It is what it is. He's a little bit taller. It is what it is. He's just a little bit better than the guy still doing it in the league. So, you know the drill. As always, I love you. God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. You could be anywhere. So happy you choose to be here. Go hit the like button. Dislike it too, because that's okay. Share, comment, subscribe. My podcast and people out there. Do what you do. Leave a review. Hit the stars. You know the drill. Until next time. Later, taters.